So yesterday, someone sent me a text message saying that they felt judged by me. And I looked at that. And then I thought about all of you guys out there in YouTube world. And I thought, I wonder what people would do with that. What would you do with that? What would you do if someone sent you a message and said, I felt judged by you? Would you? I was thinking about it and I thought about all these different options. I thought, well, I could send them a message back and say, well, your feelings are your problem, right? It's a really spiritual thing to do, is to say, well, your feelings are your problem. I'm not responsible for how you feel. I'm responsible for how I feel about what you feel. Or I'm responsible for my reaction to what you feel, but you're responsible for your reaction to things I said. Does that make sense? I used to be one of those people many, many years ago when I first got into the law of attraction and started to understand that we create our own reality and everybody is creating their own reality. That means that everybody is responsible for their own reality. And I genuinely used to say to people, yeah, your feelings are not my problem. That was my response, right? And then I thought, well, maybe if someone sent that, would you judge them back and send them a message that says, well, or say, I wasn't judging you. I don't judge. I'm not someone that judges, right? Do you know those people? The people that walk around and say that judgment is bad and I don't judge, I discern. Do you know the people? I mean, listen to me, right? I'm judging in this video already. I am judging people for judging and for using the term discernment or for spiritually bypassing, right? We all judge. You cannot get around the fact that we judge. But here is the beautiful lesson that I learned that I actually wanted to share with you, which was at some ungodly hour this morning when I woke up. I was lying there and I had this feeling, and it's a feeling that I have struggled with for a long time. And it's a feeling that I haven't been able to identify, but it does not matter how much clearing work I do, how much of my own tapping technique I do, how many statements I say, how much sub-personality work I do, how much shadow work I do, how much surrendering I do. This feeling just sits inside me, and I did not know why until this morning. So I looked at what she said and I didn't respond at the time. Not in a mean, nasty, negative way or anything like that. I took it on board. And then last night or this morning, when I had some time, I looked at it and I went, oh, what if the universe, God, whatever you'd like to call it, what if, and I went, oh, what if that divine being that is sending me wisdom and information through my external reality is trying to say, you're judging yourself? It wasn't that I was judging other people. The other people are simply a mirror to what I'm actually doing on the inside to myself. And then the divine puts people in front of you to mirror that, right? So the divine sends me someone to judge, to remind me that I am in judgment of myself. And then it sends me another person to judge, to remind me that I am in judgment of myself. And last night I looked and I went, oh, what if this feeling is me judging myself and I have not dealt with it yet? I have not stopped judging myself and my behavior and how I move in the world and the kind of parent I am and the kind of person I've become and the kind of reality that I've created. So many different ways to judge myself. I am sure you do it too, and let me know. I'd love to hear, is this resonating with you in the comments? Because I did not really know. I knew I was judging other people, but I guess I had not actually put the pieces together from an emotional, visceral perspective. Do you get what I mean? This emotional, visceral perspective of I am judging myself. And I was judging myself so harshly. And that's what this feeling was. And the divine, beautiful being of creatorship that exists in this world kept sending me people, this constant stream of human beings for me to judge, who behave and act in very different ways to how I behave and act. And I guess that part of me that would say that it disapproves of. So if you do not smoke, you're not a smoker. Sometimes we sit in judgment of people that do, especially if we're spiritual beings, if we've done the work and we think we're better than other people, then we will sit very strongly in judgment of people that smoke or people that drink or people that gamble or people that take drugs or people that have any kind of addiction whatsoever. We sit in judgment of them and we put ourselves up on a pedestal, especially way in the beginning when I first started doing this work. I had myself on a beautiful pedestal that really did look at everybody around me and go, I am so much better than you because I have found spirituality and you have not. I totally did that for such a long time. And now from just this moment this morning of sitting and going, wow, I judge myself so harshly, so much that I have this pain, this ache in my chest that never goes away because I am constantly in judgment of myself. I am constantly judging how I look, what I wear, how I behave, what shoes I have on, what I'm eating, what I'm looking like when I go out in public, what I'm looking like when people come over, how my house looks when people come over, how I parent my daughter, how I speak to somebody. Am I speaking correctly? Am I speaking with wisdom or am I speaking lazily? Am I swearing? Am I not swearing? The judgment is endless. Do you know what I mean? The judgment is endless. We judge ourselves if we have been raised by parents who criticize us, right? This isn't something that just happens. It is something that is created. We do not come into this world as judgmental beings. We are created into being judgmental. We are created into looking at ourselves and criticizing ourselves to bring ourselves back into almost into line into the box. So everybody around us, let's say mum and dad, right? Mum and dad approve of us. We're pleasing them. But to please them, we need to look at ourselves and go, well, is this behavior correct? Is this behavior correct? Is my hair done right? Did I have my plaits done right? Are my plaits not done right? I used to look at my photos from primary school and I had my hair perfectly plaited and I had bows and I had my school uniform on and I had my badge and I had my hair was perfect. It was always perfect. There was never a piece out of anything. We didn't use hairspray or gel back then, but it's just that my mum wanted it perfect. And she was a bit of a perfectionist. And so my room, when people came over, had to be perfect. I had to be dressed in these, I've got photos of me in these lovely dresses. I had to be dressed appropriately for the situation. Christmas, I had to put on a nice dress. If we were having a lunch, I had to put on a nice dress. If we were going out, I had to put on a nice dress. It was endless. And this endlessness, it creates this just normal, natural program of judgment. It's a natural, normal program that comes from having critical parents, who, by the way, not my mum's fault, not blaming her. I did another video on this, which I will try and remember to link in the description below, about where all of that comes from, why our parents are the way they are and why we are the way they are and the generational stories that come from that. I have done a video on that. I'll stick it in the link below. But it's bringing it back to, yes, okay, all of that happened, but how is it affecting me now? How am I being affected right now through that experience, through that judgment? And that's what I really viscerally, on an emotional, heartfelt level, got this morning. It's like, wow, I really judge myself harshly. I am so brutal with my being. I'm so brutal with myself and how I move about this world. And that's what this ache was. That's what this pain was, that I've not been able to move for everything that I have done for the last 20 odd years. This ache never went away until this morning. It settled and it shifted, and I went, oh, I am so harshly brutal on myself. And so I don't have a tool or a technique in stopping this, obviously, because it is brand new. However, what I have been doing today, and it's actually been quite a gift, is just noticing if this feeling comes back and I go, oh, okay, I'm judging myself. I actually don't need to do that anymore. I can stop judging myself now. And putting down the judgment, letting it go, surrendering it. You could even say, I surrender this feeling to the nothingness so it dissolves and becomes nothing. I surrender all of these thoughts to the nothingness so they dissolve and become nothing. I surrender this judgment that I hold on to the nothing, to the nothingness so it dissolves and becomes nothing. You can surrender that judgment to the nothingness so it dissolves and it becomes nothing, right? And then it gives your brain, it also gives the divine the opportunity to come through with a new pattern, with a new program, with a new sense of self, with a new way to be. You create that void, create that space by surrendering it to the nothing, and then the divine can come through and replace it with something beautiful, right? This is what we're here to do, is clear out so we can be an open, call it conduit, for the divine to flow through. That's what I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to pop a video up here actually, which I created earlier today, which is about the monkey mind and the craziness that can happen in our body, and the tools that I used to completely settle my monkey mind down, which was insanely mean and judgmental and critical. Gosh, that the feeling that I have, that is what's left after clearing out. That's the pain that is left after clearing out all of this judgmental stories and thoughts and criticism, like the monkey, the worst case scenario brain, the constant thinking, the punishing, the judgment, the criticism, it was all in there. This video is for you. I popped in a couple of tools that I used, which has immensely helped me in finding silence and finding serenity. So check out this video next. I hope it helps you. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to subscribe. Bye for now.